Welcome back to Dear Peachy. Eyes are one of the most captivating features on our face. And with the right makeup, we can enhance their shape, make them pop, or even change their appearance slightly to suit our vibe. And the secret weapon for transforming your eyes? Eyeliner. Most of us use eyeliner almost every day. But are we really making the most of it? Choosing the right eyeliner style for your eye shape can take your look to the next level. Whether you want to lift, elongate, or define your eyes effortlessly. In today's video, we're diving into everything eyeliner. Breaking down the basics, figuring out the best styles for different eye shapes, and of course, helping you find the perfect product to achieve that flawless look. Everything you need to know about eyeliner is right here, so don't go anywhere. Over 12,000 years ago, in ancient Mesopotamia and Egypt, both men and women of high status used a primitive form of eyeliner, not just for beauty, but also as a way to protect their eyes from the harsh desert sun and wind. In a way, eyeliner was an early form of sunblock. But beyond that, it symbolized status, fashion, and even spirituality, with many viewing it as a sacred connection to the divine. Fast forward to today, eyeliner is no longer about sun protection or religious symbolism. Instead, it's all about enhancing and reshaping our eyes, whether to balance our natural features, create a certain aesthetic, or simply make our eyes the focal point of our look. Most of us apply eyeliner for its functional purpose, as to enhance and define our eye shape for an everyday look. But when it comes to aesthetics, eyeliner can also be a creative tool. Different styles, like a retro wing, graphic liner, or a classic cat eye, can completely change the vibe of our makeup and add personality to our look. Eyeliner can typically be broken down into 3 key segments: the tight line, which is filled along the waterline, the outer liner, drawn on the lids, and the lower liner, applied along the lower lash line. Understanding these 3 segments makes it easier to see their unique functions and decide which ones work best for your eye shape. Tight lining, also known as invisible eyeliner, is applied to the upper waterline, the inner rim of the eye, to create the illusion of fuller, thicker lashes and a more naturally defined eye. It's perfect for those with sparse upper lashes or if your eyes still feel unfinished even after applying eyeshadow. Since the liner is applied directly to the lash line, it looks like you're not wearing eyeliner at all. But it works wonders in subtly drawing attention back to your eyes. Moreover, it is not just about creating the illusion of fuller lashes. It can also shape the overall balance of your eyes. If you emphasize the inner third of your eyes, it brings the eyes closer together, adding depth and a soft, innocent touch. This technique is perfect for those who have wide-set eyes. On the other hand, emphasizing the center of the eyes enhances a cute, round eye effect, subtly lifting the eye position while elongating the midface and shortening the brow to eye distance. This makes it ideal for those with a shorter midface, wider brow-to-eye ratio, or anyone going for a more youthful and adorable aesthetic. The outer liner is applied at the outer corners of the eyes right above the lash line, but is it necessary for everyone? Probably not. However, it can be super helpful for certain eye shapes. If you have close-set eyes, extending the liner outward helps create balance by drawing attention away from the center. It's also great for those with a wider eye-to-temple ratio, bringing harmony to the proportions. And of course, it's perfect for elongating the eyes, making them appear longer and more lifted. The lower lash liner can be especially helpful for certain eye shapes. If you have smaller irises or sanpaku eyes, where the whites of your eyes are more prominent at the bottom, adding lower liner helps bring more definition and balance. And if you've already applied tight line and outer liner but still feel like your eyes look empty or unfocused, then filling in the lower lash line might be the finishing touch you need. Last but not least, lower lash liner is also used to help reduce the mid-face ratio. It's often paired with lower lid eyeshadow and under eye fat contouring and highlighting to add more depth to the lower lid area. This technique enhances the presence of the eyes, making them appear slightly lower set, which in turn helps balance out the mid-face proportions. It's also great for those with higher set eyes, as it helps create balance and enhances overall facial harmony. If you fill in the liner between sparse spots along the lash line or slightly below the lash roots, it helps redefine and widen the eyes, making them look bigger. On the other hand, applying liner along the inner part of the lash line, the pinkish area can make your eyes appear smaller, but adds intensity to your gaze, giving you a more mysterious, cool, and alluring look. Have you ever wondered where your eyeliner should actually start? Most of the time, we just pick a random spot, extend a line, fill in a little triangle, and call it a day without really knowing what we're doing. We just go with whatever feels right, but sometimes that can leave our liner looking a little off. The thing is, simply extending a line from the outer corner doesn't necessarily enhance your eye shape. In fact, you might even feel like skipping eyeliner altogether because it doesn't look quite right. That's because most of us don't realize that eyeliner isn't just about drawing a line, it's about balancing visual weight. So, how do we find the right starting point for our liner? Here's a simple trick. Grab a Q-tip and align it from your inner corner to your outer corner. Now, take a look at the proportions of your eye. Do you notice that the upper portion of the eye appears larger than the lower portion? When an eye shape is top-heavy, it creates an unbalanced look. This is where eyeliner comes in, not just to define the eye, but to redistribute the visual weight and restore balance. To do this, instead of drawing your liner directly from the outer corner, shift the starting point slightly higher. Think of it as lifting the visual weight upward. This small adjustment creates the illusion of pushing some of the heaviness down, making the entire eye look more proportionate. Once you've found that balance point, extend a line from there, connect it to your outer corner, and fill in the triangle. Now compare it to the before, see the difference? Instead of making your eyes look heavier or disproportionate, this technique subtly elongates, balances, and enhances your natural eye shape. So next time, instead of just guessing where to place your eyeliner, think about how you can shift visual weight to create harmony in your features. In the next section, we'll dive into eyeliner products, because choosing the right tool can make all the difference. There are various products you can use to apply eyeliner, including liquid liners, gel liners, in pencil or pot form, and even eyeshadow. Each option has its own advantages, so the best choice depends on your skill level, skin type, and the look you're going for. Liquid liner typically comes with a felt tip or brush tip, offering sharp, precise strokes for a clean, defined look. It's commonly used for outer liner application, especially for styles like winged liner, cat eyes, or graphic liner looks. However, it's not usually the best option for tight lining, as its bold, crisp lines can appear too harsh or unnatural. That said, liquid liner can still be used strategically for tight lining dotted between sparse areas along the lash line to create the illusion of fuller lashes without an obvious liner look. Liquid liner is known for its superior smudge-proof abilities, as most formulas are sweat and oil resistant, making it an excellent choice for those with oily skin. However, due to its fluid consistency and precise application, it can be tricky for beginners. Many of us struggle with shaky hands, which can result in uneven or wobbly lines. Gel liner creates a softer, more natural stroke compared to liquid liner, making it ideal for a less harsh, more blended look. It comes in either an automatic pencil or a pot that requires application with a fine-edged brush. Thanks to its creamy consistency, gel liner can be easily blended out for a gradient effect and a seamless transition if needed. While gel liner can be used for the outer liner, it is most commonly used for tight lining and lower lash liner. Its smooth formula glides effortlessly along the lash roots, making it a great option for defining the eyes without looking too stark. However, some may find tight lining with gel liner tricky as it can get caught between the lashes. The key is that you don't need to fully fill in the entire waterline instead. Use the tip of the liner to dot along the lash roots and smudge it out for a natural, well-defined look. Both automatic pencils and pot liners offer better control, making them a beginner-friendly choice. That said, pot liners tend to deliver richer, more intense pigmentation and can be adjusted for thicker or thinner applications with ease. However, due to their creamy texture, they take longer to set, which may not be ideal for those with oily skin. Over time, the formula may break down when mixed with natural oils, causing smudging. If you have oily skin but love gel liners, look for smudge-proof and oil-resistant formulas to ensure long-lasting wear. Lastly, there's eyeshadow. You might not have considered using eyeshadow as an eyeliner, but it's actually a great option, especially for makeup beginners. Since eyeshadow has a softer pigmentation compared to traditional liners, it allows for better control and a more forgiving application. Eyeshadow can be used for tight lining, outer liner, and lower lash liner. To apply it, use a fine-edged brush and spritz it with setting spray before picking up the product. This helps to intensify the pigment, ensuring it adheres smoothly to the skin for a more defined yet natural look. To figure out which eyeliner style suits you best, you first need to understand your eye shape. And don't worry, it's easier than you think. We've put together a simple quiz to help you identify your eye shape step by step. Before we begin, grab your phone and take a close-up picture of your eyes. This will help you observe the details more easily. Once you have that ready, simply answer the following questions and jot down your responses. First, let's take a look at your inner corner. Pay close attention to its shape. Does it appear rounded, or do you notice a small fold of skin covering the area? If so, that means you have an epicanthic fold, so mark this as A, but if your inner corner is sharp and well-defined, then it falls into the B category. Next, let's examine the curve of your upper lid. Follow the natural shape of your upper lash line from the inner to the outer corner. Does it look relatively flat and straight? Or does it have a rounded or arched shape? If your lid appears more straight, then keep track of A. But if it has a noticeable curve, mark it as B. Now, let's move on to the positioning of your inner and outer corners. Look at your eye in the mirror or in your picture, and compare the height of your inner and outer corners. If your outer corner sits significantly lower than the inner corner, that means you have a downturned eye shape, so note down A. If your outer corner sits significantly higher than the inner corner, then it's an uplifted shape, and you'll write B. But if both corners sit at roughly the same level, your eyes are more neutral, so mark C. Finally, let's consider the ratio of width to length. Here, width refers to the vertical distance from your upper to lower lash line, while length is the distance from your inner to outer corner. If your eyes are more elongated, meaning their length is more than twice the width, then write down A. However, if your eyes appear rounder, with the width being equal to or greater than half the length, then mark B. And now that you have all your answers, it's time to see which eye shape category you fall into. We've identified 6 different eye shapes, and all you have to do is tally up your answers and match them to the results. Now, let's talk about the characteristics of each eye shape, starting with round eyes. Round eyes typically have a soft, rounded inner corner, though in some cases the inner corner may be slightly sharper, but not overly defined. This eye shape has a moderate length with a naturally curved structure, often with the outer corner positioned slightly higher, creating a doe-eyed effect. For round eyes, the best liner style is to slightly elongate the eyes to bring some balance. One key technique is applying a soft lower lash liner at the outer third. This helps visually extend the eye horizontally, balancing out the natural roundness. It creates the illusion of a slightly more elongated almond shape. Without definition on the lower lash line, round eyes can sometimes appear too circular, making them seem shorter in length. By subtly filling in this area with a gel liner or softly smudged eyeshadow, the eye shape is framed more harmoniously, preventing the upper liner from looking too top-heavy. Now, let's go into the step-by-step process. First, start by creating the outer liner. Follow the natural groove at the outer corner of your eye and extend a soft horizontal line outward. Then, trace the liner back towards your lash line, filling in the tightline as you go. When tightlining, it's best to use an automatic gel liner or a pot liner for better control. Work your way from the outer corner towards the inner corner, making sure to get in between the lash roots to create a fuller, more defined lash line. Once the tightline is in place, go back to your outer liner and refine the shape. You can extend it slightly if needed, but usually, the ideal stopping point is where your natural groove ends. Finally, to complete the look, take a dark brown or black eyeshadow with a fine edge brush and apply it to the lower lash line. Start at the outermost part and softly trace the liner inward toward the middle of the eye. Blend it out slightly to diffuse the shadow, creating a soft and natural transition. You can also use a gel liner for this step, but make sure to blend it well so that it doesn't look too harsh. Almond eyes have a slightly sharper inner corner compared to round eyes, giving them a more defined and elongated look. As the name suggests, the overall shape resembles an almond, with both the upper and lower lash lines forming a soft, balanced curve. Typically, the outer corner sits just a little higher than the inner corner, but the difference isn't too dramatic. What sets almond eyes apart is their balanced proportion. The width of the eyes is about twice the length, creating a soft, slightly wide appearance without looking too round. When you naturally have almond-shaped eyes, the key is to enhance their beauty rather than overpower it. The best way to do that is by keeping your eyeliner close to the lash line and extending it outward in a straight, subtle wing. Nothing too dramatic or overly curved. With almond eyes, less is more. The goal here is definition. We want to bring out that elegant, natural shape by filling in the inner liner or tightline to make your gaze appear more awake, and by adding a soft horizontal wing to elongate the eye. To start, grab a liquid liner pen and mark a dot at the end of your crease. This will be your guide point. Then, draw a line connecting this point to the outer corner of your eye. Next, locate the outer rim of your iris and mark a second dot there. Connect this dot back to the crease point to form a triangle shape. Once the triangle is formed, fill it in and feel free to thicken the wing to your desired intensity. To complete the look, tightline your upper inner lash line, drawing the liner inward toward the inner corner for added definition and seamless blending. Elongated eyes are characterized by sharp inner corners and an overall shape that appears more flattened and tapered. The upper lash line tends to be straighter and less curved, contributing to this sleek appearance. Typically, there's minimal height difference between the inner and outer corners. In some cases, they may even be aligned at the same level. A defining feature of elongated eyes is their proportion. The length is approximately twice that of the width, giving them their distinctive, elongated structure. To accentuate the charm of elongated eyes, It's essential to balance their naturally sharp and tapered features. The secret lies in enhancing the upper lash line to add fullness and definition, while keeping the outer liner subtle. Instead of extending the outer liner into a dramatic wing, focus more on the lower lash line to create the illusion of wider, more open eyes. This approach softens the naturally sharp angles and brings harmony to the overall structure, highlighting the unique allure of elongated eyes. To achieve this balanced look for elongated eyes, start by focusing on the lower lash line. Using a dark eyeshadow, like dark brown or black, and a fine edge brush, carefully line along the lower lash root. Begin at the middle of your lower lash line and gently blend the color toward your inner corner. This step adds depth and creates the illusion of wider, more open eyes. Next, moving on to inner corner liner. Using your liquid liner, trace along the upper lash line starting from the inner corner and work your way out toward the outer corner, filling in any sparse areas between the lashes. Finally, complete the style by adding a subtle wing at the outer corner. This delicate extension helps tie the whole look together, accentuating the unique allure of elongated eyes without overwhelming their natural structure. Hooded eyes come in a variety of shapes, but one distinctive trait is that the outer half of the upper lid tends to have a flat or even downward angle. In these eyes, the inner and outer corners are usually aligned at a similar level. The inner corner itself can be either softly rounded or slightly sharper, and the overall eye shape can range from wider to more elongated. One of the hallmark features of hooded eyes is their natural crease, which often makes the eyelid less visible. This heavier lid creates the illusion of a smaller crease, leaving less room for makeup looks and lash applications. When it comes to hooded eyes, applying a thick line of eyeliner can actually close your eyes off even more. Instead, the trick is to use a thin line, which leaves more room on your lid and creates the illusion of a more open eye. Also, avoid curving your winged liner upward too much, as that can emphasize the saggy appearance of hooded lids. Rather, draw out a wing straight from your outer corner, allowing it to naturally extend over your hooded lids. We've got 2 easy eyeliner styles just for our hooded eye beauties, and the first one is perfect for everyday wear. Start by looking straight into the mirror and gently lift the outer corner of your eye with your finger. This will help reveal the natural groove that tends to get hidden by the fold. Using that groove as your guide, trace a line just above it. You'll notice that this line sits slightly above your actual outer corner. Then, connect the end of that line back down to the outer corner to form a small triangle. Fill it in, and when you lower your head, you'll see a subtle wing that peeks out from beneath your crease, elegant, clean, and ideal for a daily look. The second style is the soft and charming puppy liner. To begin, mark a small dot at the end of your crease. This will act as your guide point. Then, starting from the outer rim of your iris, draw a gentle line that connects to the guide point. From that same dot, draw a short vertical line downward. Now, from the outer corner of your eye, connect a line to meet the bottom of that vertical line, forming a soft triangular shape. Fill it in, and once you open your eyes, you'll notice a thicker liner that subtly defines the outer half of your eye. This technique gives you a gentle, rounded look that enhances your eye shape without being disrupted by your lid space. Upturned eyes have a beautifully lifted look at the outer corners, making them appear naturally winged or cat-like. One of the most distinctive features of this eye shape is the noticeable height difference between the inner and outer corners. The outer corner always sits higher than the inner. The overall shape leans more toward a straight or flattened structure, especially along the upper lash line with minimal curvature. Typically, upturned eyes have an elongated silhouette, where the length of the eyes is about twice as long as their width, adding to their elegant, extended appearance. Upturned eyes naturally come with their own dramatic flick, thanks to the elevated position of the outer corners. Because of this, Adding an exaggerated upward wing can sometimes overdo the lift, making the eyes look overly angled and throwing off the balance of your features. To maintain harmony, it's better to extend your eyeliner from the lowest point of the outer corner and draw out a subtle straight wing instead. To further balance the lifted look, a soft liner is added along the lower lash line, especially at the outer third. This helps to visually lower the eyes just a bit, creating a more grounded, harmonious appearance without sacrificing their beautiful shape. To achieve this look, start by filling in the inner liner or tight line using a gel liner. Begin at the inner corner, tracing along the lash roots, and slightly thicken the liner at the inner third to bring more definition to that area. Continue filling along the entire upper lash line, and as you approach the outer end, taper the liner to make it a little thinner. Unlike other eye shapes where we usually fill in a triangle at the outer corner to create a lifted look, doing so on upturned eyes can actually make them look too snatched or overly angled. Instead, when filling in the outer liner, follow the direction of your upper lash line and let the liner flow to the lowest point of the outer corner. Here, you'll notice a natural break where the liner begins to separate from the eye. That's your cue. Gently pull the liner slightly downward until it aligns with the level of your inner corner. From there, extend a soft, straight line outward. You can adjust the thickness and shape based on your preference, but keep the wing subtle to maintain balance. To complete the look, take a dark eyeshadow and use a fine edge brush to fill in the lower lash line, starting from the end of the wing and blending inward toward the center of the eye. If you'd like to make additional adjustments, you can apply a small amount of matte highlighter to the lower part of the inner corner. This helps soften any strong downturn effect and adds more balance to your overall eye structure. Similar to upturned eyes, downturned eyes are defined by one key characteristic: the outer corners sit slightly lower than the inner corners. This subtle downward tilt gives the eyes a naturally soft and gentle appearance. The inner corner can vary in shape, appearing either rounded or slightly pointed. While the height difference between the inner and outer corners isn't dramatic, the upper lid structure tends to have a natural curve, and depending on the individual, the eyes themselves may appear more rounded or take on a slightly elongated form. Unlike other eye shapes, downturned eyes don't suit an exaggerated upward wing or a downward puppy liner, as both styles can emphasize the natural tilt of the outer corners and make the eyes appear even more downturned. Instead, the eyeliner should be applied with the goal of subtly lifting the outer eye area. By drawing the liner in a way that elevates the position of the outer corners, we create a more balanced and lifted appearance without exaggerating the eye shape. To achieve a lifted eyeliner look for downturned eyes, we'll start by concealing any darkness around the outer corners. Use a salmon-toned concealer, whether it's in cream, liquid, or pot form, and gently tap a small amount onto the groove of the outer corner. This step helps to neutralize pigmentation that can make the eyes appear more droopy. Blend the concealer outwards along the lower lash region. And don't forget to set it with a light layer of setting powder to prevent creasing. Once the base is prepped, move on to contouring the under-eye fat area. Lightly shade the aguio sail with a subtle contour powder, and then highlight the center to enhance its shape. For a lifted effect, apply matte highlighter to the outer triangle of the lower lid and blend it upwards. This creates the illusion that the outer corners of the eyes are lifted. Now it's time for the liner. Whether you're using a gel, liquid, or shadow liner, begin from the outer rim of your iris and draw a straight line outward toward the corner of your eye. It's important not to follow the natural shape of your lash line too closely. Instead, keep the line straight and angled out. Once you've mapped out the placement, refine the shape and extend the line to your desired length. You'll notice when you gently lift your lid, the end of the liner doesn't hug your lash line but slightly lifts away, creating a small gap that's perfectly okay and part of the illusion. To complete the look, grab a gray eyeshadow and softly smudge it over the top of the liner to give it a diffused, smoky effect. Use the same shade to define the lower lash line, blending from the outer corner toward the center of your eye. This soft definition pulls everything together and balances the look beautifully. While eye shape plays a major role in determining the best makeup techniques, there are also unique anatomical features and conditions that can influence how eyeliner and eyeshadow appear on the eyes. This section explores special considerations, such as the presence of an epicanthic fold, extended crease folds, and monolids that may require tailored techniques for the most flattering and effective result. An epicanthic fold, or epicanthus, is a skin fold of the upper eyelid that covers the inner corner of the eye. People with this feature often have softer, more rounded inner corners, which give a naturally cute and innocent look. However, when we want to subtly bring the eyes closer together or enhance definition, filling in the inner corner liner becomes helpful. The challenge? Lining around the epicanthic fold can be tricky. It's easy to end up with eyeliner that looks disconnected or unnatural if not placed properly. To create a soft, natural-looking inner corner liner, here's a step-by-step guide. First, grab a detail eye brush with a flat, fine edge. Pick up a matte brown shade from your eyeshadow palette and, holding the brush straight, gently line the inner third of your lower lash line. Next, slightly dampen your brush for more pigment payoff. Go back into the same shade and extend a short curved line along the natural fold at your inner corner. Connect this curve to the lower lash liner you just placed. This gives your inner corner a subtle, sharpened definition. To make it pop, go over the line with a gel or liquid liner to intensify the color. Now here's an important final step. When you close your eyes, you might notice the inner corner liner looks detached from your upper lid space. To seamlessly tie everything together, trace a thin line connecting the curved inner corner liner to the inner third of your upper lash line. The thickness of this line can vary depending on how prominent your epicanthic fold is. Don't rush. Build slowly and open your eyes between steps to check how it looks. Add more only where needed. With this technique, you can achieve a natural, subtle, and softly defined inner corner liner that enhances your eye shape and brings just the right amount of definition without overpowering your look. An extended crease fold occurs when the length of your crease stretches too far past the outer corner of your eye, forming a closed-ended crease rather than an open-ended one. This creates a tricky situation where your eyeliner often gets caught within the fold, making the shape appear uneven or distorted. There's a quick and easy method to solve this. First, identify the ending point of your crease fold. This is where the fold stops extending outward. Mark this spot with a small dot using your liquid liner. Next, find the outermost point of your eye where your upper lash line ends. And from there, use your finger to trace a line horizontally towards the back. Stop at about the width of your fingernail and mark a second dot. Now go back to that second dot and use your finger to gently trace it diagonally inward. This should land around the outer third of your upper lash line. Mark this third point. Finally, connect all 3 dots and fill in the shape. You'll end up with a slightly lifted wing that complements the natural shape of your eyes, perfect for everyday wear. Monolid eyes can be one of the trickiest eye shapes to line. Traditional eyeliner techniques often don't work well because the liner tends to get hidden beneath the fold or ends up looking uneven. But don't worry, there's a formula that works beautifully to bring out the unique charm of monolids. The key to nailing the perfect liner lies in knowing where to place it so it doesn't get swallowed by the fold. And that sweet spot is usually at the outer corner, where the lid doesn't cover as much. This method can be adjusted to suit subtle, everyday looks or more dramatic wings. Before filling in your liner, you can check the thickness of your fold using a simple method. Take a liquid liner and draw a short, vertical line at the outer third of your upper lash line. Then, at the top of that vertical line, add a horizontal stroke. Open your eyes and see if the top part of the liner is still visible. If it disappears into the fold, you'll know how much of your liner tends to get hidden. Start by grabbing a flat edge brush and dip it into a dark eyeshadow. Brown or black works well. Now tilt your head slightly and look into the mirror to see where your crease sits. Draw a short vertical line at the outer corner. When you look straight ahead, you should still be able to see the tip of that line peeking out. That's the ideal height to aim for. Next, let's build the wing. Starting from the outer corner, draw a slightly angled line that follows the shape of your lower lash line. Then, place a dot at the outer edge of your iris. Connect this dot to the vertical line and the corner of your eye. You'll notice a natural curve starts to form as the lines join together. Fill it in to complete the wing. If you're new to this, don't be afraid to close and open your eyes as you go to check the shape. Adjust the top rim of the liner and thicken it if needed, making sure it connects smoothly with your upper lash line. And if you're going for a bolder, more dramatic wing, just extend the outer tip a little further. That's it! Your go-to formula for Monolid eyeliner that actually works. We've now come to the end of our guide, and at this point, we've covered almost every common eye shape and tackled many of the unique challenges that come with them. While the eye shape test can be a useful starting point, it's important to remember that it's not an exact science. Our eyes are incredibly unique. Factors like lid space, crease shape, the presence of an epicanthic fold, or even the position of your outer corners all contribute to how your eyes look and behave with makeup. That's why makeup should never be one size fits all. Some of us might not need to tightline at all, while others might find inner corner liner essential for balance and definition. What matters most is learning to observe your own features and combine the tips you've learned to suit you. With practice and play, you'll discover what works best for your eyes, and that's when the real magic happens. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you in the next video. Goodbye.